on the shores of Lake Ontario. Winter is going away. I'm really excited because we finally have some better temperatures and some better weather here where I live in Canada. The winter's been absolutely bad. It's been nasty with minus 30, minus 25 degrees. So we're surviving. Hey, I wanted to talk to you about my experiences from last week and this week. Now, here's the thing. I've got a bank account. I bank with a few different banks here, and I need a new account. I need a specific account to do some very specific transactions. So I went up to my banks and I called them up and I said, hey, this is my need. What do you guys offer? And they said, we offer an electronic banking account. It's not a traditional account. You don't have a checkbook, but it's all electronic. And I was so excited. And I thought to myself, well, amazing. I'm going to get this account done and it's going to solve all my problems. And they said, well, you can't do it over the phone. You have to go to the branch and get it done. It shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. And I was very excited. So I went to the bank. And I went there and I said to the teller, I said, hey, I'm here to open up this account. Can you help me out? And the teller said, let me check because I can't do that for you. I have to get one of our financial services managers to assist you in opening this account and let me check if they're around. And I said, okay. A few minutes and the teller came back and said, sorry sir, we can't open up this account today because we're really busy. The FSMs are super busy and they have back-to-back appointments lined up, and you will have to schedule an appointment to open up this account. And I said, okay, I will come back. It's just a few minutes from my home and I'll just pop in one day and open up this account. So a few days passed and I went there again today and I said, hey guys, how's everything going? This is Tuesday morning. I'm here to open up an account. It's the e-account and I want to get it done if we can. And once again, the lady said, hey, let me check if one of the FSMs is available because they're the ones who should be opening up this account. And by the way, you should be able to do this yourself online. I said, I spoke to your bank on the phone and they said, no, you have to go to the branch. So first problem, you've got to know what your business offers. You've got to know what your value proposition is. I go to banks and financial institutions all the time, and people behind the service counter are always looking for information. And this has happened to me so many times. It has happened to me when I had to transfer funds between accounts. It has happened to me when I had to deposit a check that was to be cashed at a future date, and they didn't know what forms to fill. And it happened to me again just a few days ago. So my biggest problem with the service industry, with the banks especially, is that you better know what you're selling. You better tell your people what they're selling and what that interface between the customer and the bank is. It's so pivotal that 5-second experience defines everything about your service and your bank. And really, I cannot stress the importance of this more. If you need to train your people more, do that. If you want to give them more skills, do that. But please make sure that anybody who's behind the counter in any service situation knows all the answers. Please. So the lady came back, the teller came back to me and said, well, sir, it's not a good day today because all our FSMs are busy again and they have back-to-back appointments and we will not be able to open up this account for you today. Would you like me to schedule an appointment for you so that you know when you're coming in? Now, I do not want to schedule an appointment because I think 2 minutes of their time or 5 minutes of their time is not something that I should move my entire day around. I should have more choices as a consumer. I should have more leeway into saying, hey, this is how I want to be served rather than this is how you are serving me traditionally. Now, this is the big thing. Banks today, financial institutions today are serving customers in a way that they used to do 5, 10, 15 or 20 years ago. And this is the big shift. This is the big model. The consumer of tomorrow, and I'm not young, I'm not a millennial, but I do find the convenience of using technology to help my life, to do things better. So I'm not the consumer of the future who's well aware of all the technologies and they are all digital. If we were to picture that as an ideal customer, but because of the availability of technology and all the services we have around, I don't want to do banking in a traditional way. I'd like to go in do my things and leave. And I should be able to open up a bank account online or over the phone or in some other way. Now, here are some of the things, and I understand the positions of the banks and the organizations that run these financial institutions. I understand, and here are some of their challenges. First one is identity. Now, we live in an era where identity of a person is distributed. It is distributed in so many different ways. You've got your social insurance number, you've got your citizen card, you've got your registration number, you've got one central registration number that identifies you as a person in a country, in a region, in a state, in a nation. And you potentially use that identity to get services, to access different things that you need to do. But this identity is fragmented because all the agencies behind do not have access to this identity, because it's based on card, it's based on some different format. Typically, it's a card. It's a card inside your wallet that you can access. It's something like this, and you can have a card that typically is your identity. It's your driver's license in a majority of places of the world, or a passport, depending on where you're using it. You can't use a driver's license in an international situation. As an example, you have to use a passport if you're crossing borders and you're going to different countries. But at a local level, you can totally use a driver's license. So the challenge with identity is that identity today, traditionally in a majority of the world, in 99.9% of the world, is based on this older system of having a document to prove who you are and to claim that this is who I am. And that's why you have a picture on your identification card. With technologies such as blockchain, and blockchain comes to the discussion all the time. With technologies such as blockchain, identity management is changing, because now you can have identity and electronic identity that you can utilize to share with other parties based on permissions you give them. And once they receive it, because of the encryption, because of the security features within, they absolutely will know that this is you. There's no way that somebody else is faking it. And there's many ways to encode it, to encrypt it, to secure it, so that you don't need to carry a physical driver's license to verify this is who you are. Let me give you an example of Estonia. Estonia is amazing. It's a very tiny country, and they've done a lot of work when it comes to identity management and managing services that the government provides on different platforms: healthcare, car registrations, pet registration, hospital, drug delivery. All of these things, the services that the citizen services that you need to access, are all available through that e-card or that e-residency card. You could be living anywhere in the world, and you could be an e-resident of Estonia, but you could use that identity to verify that, hey, this is legitimately me, this is me doing these transactions. And that reduces a lot of burden. It reduces a lot of inefficiency within the system. It reduces a lot of paperwork. It reduces literally billions of dollars worth of inefficiency that we have been overloaded with right now. Now, here's the situation within the bank. I went to the bank and I see everybody working really hard and doing their work. All the tellers are doing their work. People within their offices are doing work. And something that I really observed was that they were all handling a lot of paper. The people were signing documents. The managers were putting them into stacks of documents. They were putting these papers into nice files, and they were going to store them somewhere. With a digital identity management system or a solution, or the idea or concept of digital identity, all this is gone. There's no management of paper, there's no storage of paper, there's no signatures physically to be verified. Like, everything becomes electronic, and that creates a lot of efficiency. Imagine that out of the 8 or 10 hours that if you have a job, if you're a corporate worker, if out of 8 or 10 hours of your job, imagine that all of the things that you do that handle paper are done in 30 minutes or 1 hour. Imagine that you reclaim 90% of your time at work. What would you do? Think of all the amazing things that you would do at your workplace. You would innovate, you would recreate, you would solve bigger problems rather than handle paper, manage paper, file documents, and so on and so forth. I'm not even talking about the document management industry, where approximately it costs $20,000 per employee in terms of costs of looking for documents in a typical enterprise. This is a large enterprise, but we're still talking about identity management and technology and inefficiency that I saw in my bank today. So here's the big challenge. I'm still looking forward to opening that account, but honestly, I now am at a point where I am doing a search online and looking at all the different banks that are in my city to see which one of them has the fastest process for me to open up this account. And if I can call them up or I can just walk in and open up this account. I am literally shopping around now because of a little incident that involved me going to my bank twice or once or 2 times or 3 times, and now it is changing my consumer behavior. This is the biggest challenge for banks right now. This is the biggest challenge for any service organization that is out there, that is customer facing. You could be an ice cream parlor, you could be a large megapolis of a company, you could be anybody, you could be a theme park, a coffee shop, or a retailer. This layer between the experience that people experience at your store, at your location, at your retail location is pivotal in success or failure in the future. And it takes time. It takes time, but over time, there's a huge cut in customers. There's a huge churn in customers that potentially businesses are saying. What about Target? What about some of these large retailers? What about Toys R Us? All these companies saw the worst of times because a giant retailer such as Walmart came into the market, really impacted the way they sell. And Walmart really changed that equation where, I'm talking about Amazon, I'm so sorry. Amazon really changed the way that they sell in the market. You can now shop from the comfort of your home. You get your goods delivered to your doorstep. You can do returns with ease. You can do all of these things that were traditionally where you would want to walk into a store, buy something, try something. And if you didn't like it, you had to go back again, spend half an hour going back to the store, 15 minutes parking, 15 minutes doing anything else, something else, and then you would leave. So it all comes down to efficiency. It all comes down to just time savings and efficiency within the system in general. I have no idea what kind of business you are in. You could be an association. You could be a manufacturer. You could be a retailer. You could be a pure service industry, such as in the food and beverages, or you could be a bar. But unless you don't look at this thin layer of interaction where your customers interact with you and what they get in return and the exchange of these two values, you have to really observe that and identify what the challenges there are. Here's my take on the future. The future is built on engagement. The future really rides on engagement. If you change the way you engage with your customers, then you are already successful. For financial institutions, banks, since we're talking about banks, credit unions, you've got to be one step ahead in identifying the needs of your customer. You've got to know how to address the needs of your customers. The generations are changing. There's a new generation within the workplace. There's a new generation in family businesses. There's a new generation in every institution, every body that's taking over the work from previous generations. So you've got to be able to predict and foresee the next 5, 10 to 20 years of your business and identify what are some of the things that we need to implement as an organization that'll make us successful, that'll make us stand out. And that's where engagement comes into play. This goes into marketing, this goes into communication, this goes into talking about how your services and products are beneficial to your customers. And it's about really having a very crisp and clear message to your customers where they really identify with you, and that's your journey as a brand. So that's just the engagement part. The future is also algorithmic. And I say that because platforms such as Netflix and Amazon and all the others, they're using algorithms to predict buyer behavior. They're using algorithms to predict how buyers will buy services and products in the future. And that keeps them 50 steps ahead of a traditional thinking model. So if you're thinking in a traditional way, and I think you are, because you probably are not the Amazons of the world, not everybody is, not everybody has the capacity capacity to plan that and to have systems that are artificial intelligence driven. So you're probably making a lot of those decisions yourself. And so you've got to be able to sit down and say, hey, what are the things that are happening in the market right now, or what are what's the outlook 5 or 10 years from now? So you've got to be able to do that. That's the nature of the algorithmic economy. Engagement is top. The algorithmic nature of the world is top. I also believe the future will be tokenized, and by that I mean that cryptocurrencies in one way or the other, and not just specifically cryptocurrencies, but tokens in many ways will change the way we interact with people. Imagine tokens as loyalty points, or points that you can exchange for services within a single ecosystem or within a single platform. For example, if Amazon comes out with a token and says, hey, this is the Amazon token, and Amazon on the other hand would own maybe 50 different companies or 50 different services, you would be able to use that token to utilize and buy stuff and exchange stuff on all of those services and products and platforms. And that's the idea of a token, where companies want to keep you as part of their family. They want to keep you a customer, and that's the difference between a token and a cryptocurrency, whereas in a cryptocurrency you could just go and buy things from anybody else. I also believe the future is tokenized, so you've got to be able to address the needs of future payment systems, how people will pay, how people will buy. Not a lot of people are using electronic forms of payment right now, for example, in your wristbands, in your phones, but people are slowly adopting to that depending on the region, the country, and how far off you are. But slowly cash is vanishing from retail. People are using less and less cash, less and less debit and credit cards, and a lot of electronic forms of payment. And this will continue changing in the next few years until the cryptocurrency industry stabilizes. And we've had a really rough time last couple of years with Bitcoin having a really huge surge, and there's about there's about 1,200 or 1,500 different cryptocurrencies. So it's really the crazy wild west of cryptocurrencies, whether it's crypto winter, crypto spring. This had to happen, and it's the right time for all this craziness to happen. But I do anticipate the future to be a bit more stable, and in the next 5 years is a really good time frame for us to see a stable cryptocurrency market, a stable tokenization token market, where actual things will be done. And these are my thoughts. So starting from banking, the financial industry, the services industries, and some of the challenges that govern us, I really believe we have an opportunity to see the future in a better way if we plan things in a better way. You tell me about your experiences within retail. Tell me and share with me and all the readers of this post and people who are watching this, what are your experiences going to your bank? Have you faced a challenge like this? How is the banking system in your country? How are the retailers where you live? And share your thoughts and ideas. This is Ian Khan. Thank you for watching my videos. Please share this video with your friends and family and colleagues, and please comment and tell me what you think and what content would you like to see next. Also catch me at the Future Blockchain Summit in Dubai, April 2nd and 3rd. And that's the world's largest blockchain festival. We've got a lot of stuff going on, workshops, classes, and I'm also screening my documentary Blockchain City there, and this is the worldwide premiere for the film. And so if you are in Dubai, please join me April 1st and 2nd at the World Trade Center to see a preview and a screening of my documentary. For more information, iankhan.com, or go to my documentary webpage, blockchaincitymovie.com. Thank you so much, enjoy yourself, and see you soon. I see the world in a different way, and you need to see what I see. We must recognize that we came from a very good place. As humans, as people, as a society, as a race, we've been amazing so far, and we should love us. But nothing remains the same forever. Things change, seasons change, life changes, and change is a constant. We live on the belief that tomorrow will be better, don't we all? Isn't that why we live, why we survive, why we build, and why we dream? The future
is approaching us very fast. This is a technology-driven future, a future of rapid change. But this is not necessarily a bad thing because it brings with it a huge transformation and a new era in human history. To get there, we must walk on a specific path and not just choose short-term happiness, but create sustainable success. We must start thinking differently, start thinking loud, start thinking big. The time to do that is now, right now, because tomorrow is being created right this moment. This is the future where people will be happier, healthier, live longer, and stronger. My name is Ian Khan, and I'm driven to unlocking your potential by showing you what the future holds and to help you get there with a proven process for success. My work as an author and a documentary filmmaker helps me convey ideas that can create real impact. Over the last 20 years, I have worked with hundreds of organizations in helping them understand the future and how to succeed. I've worked across the world, from Dubai to Denmark and Seoul to San Francisco, challenging CEOs, challenging heads of departments and governments in pushing their limits to think differently. Using a proven methodology of the 7 axioms of value creation as a foundation and deriving insights from rapidly evolving technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, the Internet of Things, and more, I can help you understand the future of industry. Come join me. Let's build the future together, right now, right here, today.